In a class about magic stones, we learn that they are used as the core of every magic tool, but we see Rei dozing off in the class. They move on to practicing their magic against targets, but Misha notices Rei zoning out, and she scolds her for neglecting her practice. Rei gives it a go, but her magic is so strong that it completely destroys the target. Everyone in the class is amazed, while Rei realizes she used too much power, but a fireball suddenly flies past and destroys another target, and Claire tells her not to get full of herself, because anyone can do it with practice. Rei looks like she's about to cry, but she thinks Claire is too cool, asking her to marry her. Their teacher Torrid interrupts them, telling them not to lose focus, because magic is a dangerous art that must be taken seriously. The two apologize, and Rei smiles at Claire, telling her how she loves the fact that she shows respect to people who are better than her. Claire notes that Torrid is one of the pioneers who established the foundations of magic, and he is the only person able to use 3 elements in the whole kingdom. The lesson continues as Torrid discusses the attributes of magic and their respective affinities. He explains the use of each element, like using earth for defense, fire for attacking, water for healing, and wind for enhancement. He tells the class to practice and asks the wind attribute students to come forward so he can advise them separately. The class begins practicing, and Rei tries making walls using her earth magic. Claire shoots at her wall, destroying it as she looks at her smugly, but this just makes her happy, and she creates more for her to attack. Yoon and Rod walk over to them, thinking they are good friends, which Claire immediately denies, but Rei claims that that's why she loves her, making her annoyed. Claire asks where Thane is, and Rod tells her he's with Torrid. Claire looks at him longingly, but Rei is unamused. Yoon is impressed by Rei's powers, saying they envy her since they aren't good at using magic. Claire asks her if being praised by a prince makes her happy, but Rei says she would rather be complimented by her instead. Rod asks the two if they will take the Academy Knights exam, and we learn the Knights are responsible for resolving student conflicts and fighting monsters on the school grounds. Rei recognizes the Knights as the game's version of the Student Council, which allows players to get exclusive event pictures of the princes, but she doesn't care about that. Rod notices her indifference towards the idea, and suggests she could be the knight who protects Claire. Rei imagines herself saving Claire from bandits, and instantly changes her mind about joining, but Claire crushes her dreams by telling her that she will also be taking the exam. However, Rei gets excited as she imagines Claire as a knight. The ground suddenly starts shaking, and a giant slime monster emerges from the woods. The princes lead the students away, while Torrid tries to fight the monster, but his attacks have no effect. Rei jumps in to help him since she can use wind magic, which is strong against water-type monsters. She traps the monster with magic walls using her knowledge of what happens in the game, and she asks Torrid to gather everyone to attack the slime together. The students shoot at the slime, but it only enrages it, causing it to scream and immobilize everyone. It grabs multiple students including Rei, and she realizes that it will lead to a romance option with one of the princes. In desperation, she calls for Claire instead, but she sees Claire has also been caught by the monster, which she finds cute. The monster drops Claire, and Thane joins her, telling her to combine their powers. Rei cheers her on, and she combines her flames with Thane's wind, allowing them to destroy the monster's core. Claire is exhausted, and Thane checks up on her, which makes her blush, but he disappears when the students surround them. Rei goes into the woods to find a baby slime, and we learn that the giant slime was just trying to protect it. She decides to make the slime her familiar, and she names it Relaire. On her way back, she notices Claire and Thane having a moment together, but it gets interrupted when she accidentally steps on a twig. Claire immediately rushes to her to check up on her, which Rei sees as her being affectionate, and Claire gets annoyed at her again, but tells her she did a good job keeping the monster at bay. Afterward, Rei secretly pulls out Relaire, but is caught by Misha. She tells her to keep it a secret, and asks her to help train it. Misha is reluctant at first, but warms up to the idea after realizing how cute it is, and they secretly train it, but they are eventually caught by Claire, who screams when she sees it. Claire scolds them for taking in a monster after the ordeal they went through, but Rei and Misha try to convince her that Relaire is harmless. Claire is intrigued by its name, so Rei explains that it's their names put together, saying it's the fruit of their love. Claire ignores this and tells her she will inform Torrid so he can kill it. Rei desperately tries to change her mind by showing her all the tricks she taught it, but she remains unimpressed. So Rei uses her last resort and makes her lair change its shape to resemble Claire, which instantly catches her attention. Rei lies and tells her that slimes imitate the shape of beautiful ladies, feeding her ego and getting her to agree. Claire tells her that if she wants to keep it, she must teach it discipline and stop hiding it. She also asks her to change its name, but Rei tells her that's impossible since familiars remember their name forever. A few days later, results for the written exam for the Academy Nights are announced, and all 3 girls pass it. Claire congratulates Misha, but ignores Rei, who is excited by her cold attitude. The princes congratulate them, and Rod tells them the real test is the practical exam that they must take next. Claire drags Rei away from the group and proposes another challenge, saying that if Rei fails the exam, then she must leave the academy. Rei declines instantly, but Claire tells her to at least consider her terms. Rei suggests competing under the same terms as the last challenge, but Claire is skeptical, thinking she will trick her again. So Rei suggests new terms, where she will only win if she passes her exam. Lorik, the captain of the Academy Knights, leads the group to the ground where the exams will take place. The theme of the exam is one-on-one battles based on survey responses, and we see the group being paired up against each other. The knights create a barrier around them to minimize damage, and the battles commence. Yoon and Thane go first. Thane quickly attacks Yoon by using advanced wind magic to enhance his offensive abilities, but Yoon casts his magic to block the attacks, turning the floor to ice, and he prepares to strike back. The announcers explain that Yoon is an intermediate magic user, and his ice powers give him the image of a prince of ice, which makes the other girls swoon. He launches ice at Thane, but Thane creates a wind shield to deflect the attack, and he charges straight toward Yoon. Yoon traps him in a wall of ice, but he easily destroys it and closes in on Yoon. Yoon surrenders, and Thane becomes the winner of the first battle. Misha and Rod's battle comes up next, but Misha isn't looking forward to it. Rod creates minions using his fire powers, and launches them at Misha, who easily eradicates them with her wind. Rod creates more minions around Misha, and makes them explode, but Misha emerges unharmed, thanks to a vacuum barrier she created to shut out the heat and protect herself. Rod is impressed by her, so he unleashes a relentless wave of minions using his exceptionally large supply of mana. The attacks are too much for Misha, and she ends up surrendering. We learn that although her vacuum barrier protected her, the constant attacks caused her to run out of oxygen. Rei and Claire's battle finally comes around, but when it starts, neither of the girls attack each other. Claire asks Rei why she's standing still, and Rei tells her that she's happy to just look at her, but if she insists, she will start the fight. Rei brings out her wand and traps Claire in an earth wall, but Claire easily melts it away with her fire. Rei launches rocks at her, but she creates a barrier to protect herself. Claire casts a fire lance to deflect her attack, but Rei creates a wall out of tungsten, which easily withstands the heat. Claire changes her tactics and casts another fire lance, which she redirects to go behind Rei and split into multiple pieces, but Rei is able to protect herself. Thane notes how Rei seems to know Claire's fighting style, but his brothers assume it's due to her being obsessed. Claire starts getting annoyed and launches a barrage of attacks, trying to cut off Rei's oxygen, but Rei acts quickly and directs her wall towards Claire to trap her again. Claire jumps out of it and uses her family's special magic, firing a powerful beam to intimidate Rei into surrendering. However, Rei creates a hole under her, causing her to fall. Claire tries to fight back, but Thane tells her to give up, because Rei is a dual caster with water attributes that can overpower her fire. Claire becomes furious when she realizes Rei was holding back the whole time, but before she can retaliate, the announcers declare Rei as the winner. Later on, the two check the results, and Claire is confused to see that she passed the test. Lorik explains that the results of the fight don't matter, because they were tested for their raw ability during their fights, and he welcomes the two of them into the Knights. Claire asks Rei what she wants for winning, but Rei simply tells her to promise never to give up, and she is confused at why she is asking for the same thing, but she agrees and swears never to lose hope. Lorik welcomes the group to the Academy Nights and jumps right into business, which is the Foundation Day Fair. The Knights run a cafe during the fair as a tradition, but Rod suggests that they change it up to make it less boring. He asks Rae for suggestions, and she says she wants to see Claire in men's clothes, which gives Rod the idea to go for a maid and butler theme, where the girls and guys swap outfits. Claire questions if it would be acceptable for royals like them to do this, but Yoon is on board since he thinks it would be fun to dress up. Misha shyly agrees with the idea, along with Rae, who just wants to see how Claire will look. Before Claire can object, Rae tells her to imagine how Thane would look in a dress, and she instantly agrees, and Rod announces the opening of their cross-dressing cafe. But we see Claire regret agreeing to the idea, after realizing she will have to wait on people. A boy named Lambert approaches them, and he thanks Claire for being good to his sister Lena. Claire asks Rae if she knows about him, and Rae explains that Lambert is an inventor and magic tool specialist, who takes care of all the Academy's maintenance single-handedly. Lambert thanks her for her kind words, and asks the two for a favor. He explains that there have been conflicts among the students, which he and Lorik are trying to handle, so he asks them to take care of other matters in their place. Claire agrees to this, and he tells her to investigate claims of a ghost being seen near the kitchens. Claire is terrified hearing this, and Rae teases her about it, but Lambert notices her discomfort and asks if it's too much. Rae says they will need the kitchen for the cafe, and Lambert assures her that the ghost hasn't hurt anyone. Claire finds it scary to be working with a ghost lurking around, but proclaims that nobles don't go back on their words, and that she will solve the mystery. The two enter the kitchens at night, and Rae decides to check the prep room while Claire checks the main room. But she gets scared when she touches something slimy, and Rae rushes to check on her. It turns out to just be gelatin, and Rae tells her to stay outside while she checks deeper into the room. She soon comes back out and offers Claire a chocolate dessert, which Claire finds strange, because chocolate is a new thing that was only just released at the high-end eatery called Brumette. She reluctantly tries it, but finds it delicious, wondering where Rae got it from. She reveals she made it herself, and this makes Claire realize that the ghost seen around the kitchens was actually Rae, since she was spending time there learning the recipe. Rae reveals she also prepared a bed for them to spend the night, but Claire is frustrated and tries to leave. However, at the door, she notices a slimy hand on her shoulder and runs back to Rae, but it turns out to just be Relaire, who followed them. Claire tries to leave again, but after seeing the dark hallway, she comes back inside and jumps into bed. Rae joins her, and she teases her all night. Claire dreams about her childhood, where her mother was always too busy to spend time with her. On her birthday, we see her mom leave on an important trip, and Claire tells her she hates her, but later regrets it when she hears her mother was in an accident. She cries as she sleeps, but we see Rae comforting her. The next morning, Claire wakes up next to Rae, and slaps her for being too close to her. Back at Claire's place, Rae and Lena talk about Lambert, and Lena excitedly tells her how proud she is of her brother. Rae takes advantage of this, and says that Lambert would appreciate it if she helped out with the Foundation Day Fair, and she agrees. The girls try out different foods made by Rae, and realize that she can replicate the new releases from Brumette. But Lena later confronts her about it, and Rae admits that she was the one who gave Brumette all the recipes for money. Rae asks Lena to keep it a secret, saying she's doing it for Claire, and Lena agrees on the condition that she teaches her the recipes as well. They meet at night to practice, but Claire joins them after realizing and volunteers to taste test for them. She makes creme brulee for them, which they both find delicious. Lena tries making it as well, but she accidentally burns herself. Rae uses her magic to heal her, and Claire points out how close they are, while Rae is excited to see her being jealous, but she immediately denies it. The three enjoy the night together, and Rae wishes it could last forever. The next day, Rae calls Lena to help train the Knights on how to serve people as maids and butlers. Claire asks Rae why she's using her maid, so Rod tells her that she did it on his request, since none of them know how to work in service. Lena starts the session, and asks everyone to see past her status as a commoner so they can learn from her without prejudice. She orders everyone to refer to her as their instructor, and the students end up accepting her. Lena cracks her whip, and all the students are scared of her as she begins her lesson. She teaches them the fundamental concepts of serving, and the proper way to welcome their master home. They have a break for tea, and Claire talks about the lesson being an ordeal, while Lena apologizes for going a little overboard. Claire understands her actions, saying she was always different from the other maids from the day she arrived, since she was able to put up with her attitude when she was young. Rae finds the story of the two adorable and tells Lena she will be counting on her help at the fair. The day of the fair arrives, and everyone is dressed up for the cafe. Claire mocks Rae for looking good in servant's clothes since she's a commoner, but she just takes it as a compliment. Yoon shows off his dress to Misha, and they both compliment each other. Lambert assigns everyone their shifts, and Rod announces the opening of the cafe. Customers pour in immediately, and they are mesmerized by the students dressed up as maids and butlers. Later, while Claire is cleaning up the tables, someone requests for her at table 2. She gets irritated when she sees it's Rae, but Lena orders her to perform her duties correctly. She goes to greet Rae, who is happy to see her holding back her anger. Claire threatens to slap her if she bothers her too much, but Rae just sees it as a reward. Rae finally orders her food, and tries to make moves on Claire, who dodges her while taking her order, and Lena is happy to see the restaurant going well. Rae goes back to her shift and is occupied with work, when two strange customers arrive at the cafe. The man turns out to be Marcel Lauro, the crown prince of the Lauro Empire. Rae recognizes him from the game and dreads what happens next. As scripted, Marcel orders her to bring him something made of dodo bird, and she informs them that they don't have the item on the menu due to it being a rare delicacy. Rae realizes that this moment will lead to another romance option with the princess, but to her surprise, Claire comes to her rescue. Claire starts talking with the prince in fluent Laurenese, which instantly lifts his mood. She suggests that he try a dish served with a rare sauce that only a select few have tried, and the prince agrees. After the situation is handled, Claire complains about the arrogance of people like Marcel, and Rae thanks Claire for helping her, but she denies that she did it to help her. Rae goes back out to finish serving the prince, and Lena mentions how this incident reminds her of something in the past. We see a flashback of Lena and Claire when they were younger. Lena gets bullied by a noble from Lauro, but Claire comes to her rescue and convinces the man to treat her well. Afterwards, Claire tells Lena that she should keep her head held high since she is her servant, which makes her the highest-ranked commoner. The two laugh, and we cut back to the present where we see the girls enjoying their time serving the customers. After finishing her work, she swaps her shifts with Thane and tends to Claire, praising her for doing a great job at handling the customers, but Claire tells her she's used to putting up a front. Rae tells her she likes her usual honest self better, but Claire tells her not to flatter her since she's aware of her own personality. Rae tells her not to put herself down, and she offers to escort her around the fair. The two enjoy the fair together while checking out all the attractions. Claire becomes exhausted, so Rae goes to get water for her, but stops to buy a necklace. On her way back, students recruiting people to the commoners movement try to recruit her. Claire appears behind her, telling the student not to put thoughts in her servant's head, and takes her away. Claire mocks the movement's cause, but Rae disagrees, saying their movement isn't foolish. Seeing the uneasy look on her face, Rae reassures her that she would still serve her even if she were a noble, and offers her the necklace that she bought, saying that it helps people realize their love. Rae tells her she wishes for things between her and Thane to work out, but Claire thinks Rae is strange for rooting for Thane when she has feelings for her, but Rae states that her happiness is more important than having her own feelings realized. Claire asks her why she's obsessed with her, so Rae reveals she's the savior of her heart, and that she saved her from her mundane life full of worries and pressure. Claire thinks her words are ridiculous and gets up to leave. She tells her that they are nothing more than a noble and commoner, but we see her clutching onto the necklace. After the fair, the girls come across a crowd of students who tell them about a commotion between Yoon's attendant Didi and a student from the commoners movement, where Didi attacked the student with magic. Misha thinks using magic was extreme, but Claire continues to belittle the commoner. Rae asks her if things would be acceptable the other way around, and Claire is left speechless. Rae realizes she's slipped up, so she plays it off as a joke. The nurse calls them in after she's done treating the student, and the girls are shocked when they see his condition. Rae tries to question the boy Matt about the incident, but he refuses to answer since he believes that the Academy Knights will favor the nobles. The girls reassure him that they will treat him fairly, so he tells them what happened. We learn that it started out as an argument after Didi forbids them to go near Yoon. This angers him, so he tells Didi that nobles are just parasites who leech tax money from commoners. Hearing this, Didi pulls out his wand, but it goes off, shooting fire at Matt. Yoon asks Lambert about the wand, and he tells him it was confiscated and sent for inspection. Word of the incident gets out, and a crowd of protesters gathers outside the school gate, demanding justice. Rod asks Yoon why he was meeting with Matt, calling him foolish for listening to his request. But Yoon quotes a teaching from the church that says they are all equal before the eyes of God, explaining that he saw no reason for shutting Matt out without hearing him first. We learn that Rod and Thane were born to the same mother, a princess from Alps who died early, while Yoon's mother, Riche, the current queen, used to be a cardinal of the spiritual church. The kingdom believed that the marriage would help put the church under control, but instead, it gained more power, and Yoon is the symbol of the church's authority. Yoon tells everyone that he doesn't believe Didi would do such a thing, and that his magic discharged on its own. Lambert tells them that there were no defects found in the wand, which makes the situation suspicious. Rod suggests that they will talk to the nobles, while Rei and Misha will talk to the commoners so they can quiet things down. Rei doesn't want to do it, but she asks Claire to pet her head to get her motivated. Claire reluctantly pets her, but Rei teases her to do it with more love, so she pets her even harder. They disperse to help calm down the situation, and they talk to all the students about it. A week later, it's announced that Didi's punishment is house arrest for only a week, which causes an uproar among the commoners. Realizing it isn't safe, Rei quickly takes Claire away from the area. Riots begin outside the school walls, and Lorik announces that the school will be closing temporarily and put under military protection until the situation calms down. Claire can't accept Didi's punishment since she saw how badly hurt Matt was, and Lorik agrees with her, but explains that the other nobles who disliked the commoner movement had a hand in it. Lambert adds that the church may have helped the nobles, even though they usually finance the commoner movement, implying that the church may be trying to purposefully get nobles and commoners to clash. Rod asks Yoon why he didn't talk to his mother about this, and he explains that she refused to give him an audience. The three princes start arguing, but Claire stops them, suggesting that the church's real goal may be to create a rift between the princes. They realize this as well, and they agree to work together. While walking back to their room, Rei tells Claire to stay in her room until the next day. She protests, but Rei uses her magic to put her to sleep, and tells Lena that the school gate will be broken down, so she should do everything to protect her. Lena asks her how she knows this, but instead of answering, she asks her if she loves Claire. Lena notes how long she has been with Claire, so Rei hugs her, and decides to trust Claire with her. At night, the soldiers get attacked, and the commoners use it as a chance to climb over the school gate. They run straight for the dorms, but are stopped by the princes. Meanwhile, Rei finds Lambert sneaking around the storage room and accuses him of being the one to tamper with Didi's wand. He tries to deny it, but Rei points out that he's the one who handles all inspections, and that he rigged the wand to discharge on its own and erased all evidence after the incident. She realizes that he plans to escalate tensions between nobles and commoners by using the bell to attract monsters and attack them. Lambert asks her if she has any proof, and she says she doesn't, but that she knows everything. She proves it by talking about how his goal isn't to help the commoner movement, and that Lena is more than just a sibling to him, implying that they have an incestuous relationship. At that moment, Lena appears while holding Claire hostage, and begs Rei not to get in the way of Lambert's plans. Relaire jumps out of Claire's pocket and bites Lena, making her drop the knife and freeing Claire. Claire tells the two to surrender, but a mysterious man enters the room, saying that they can't do that, but Rei doesn't recognize the man from the game. He urges Lambert to use the bell, promising to help his family escape the country, so he and his sister can change their identities and be together. Lambert apologizes to everyone and releases a chimera, ordering it to attack the nobles. The girls run away, but Claire stops to fight it, saying that the siblings will be punished more harshly if they let the chimera reach the military. She turns and attacks the chimera, but it has no effect. Rei steps in and tells Claire she's at tsundere, which she doesn't understand, but Rei ignores her and tells them they should go somewhere else to fight more easily. The chimera shoots fire at them, but Rei gets Claire out of the hallway and into the courtyard. She freezes the chimera, but becomes exhausted from using too much magic. She explains that the chimera commands multiple elements and will be able to break out of the ice, saying that defeating it will be the first labor of love for their new life together. The girls get ready to fight the chimera, and Rei explains that she will combine her water magic with her fire to attack its head, which is weak against water. Rei distracts the chimera while Claire prepares her attack. After getting it in the perfect position, she creates a pillar beneath Claire to help her cast her signature family magic. The two combine their powers, and they manage to defeat the chimera, while Lena and Lambert watch them from above. The Academy Knights find and arrest them, but Lena is happy to see Claire have someone to take care of her in her place. The mysterious man appears behind Claire and Rei, and he tries to stab Claire, but Thane protects her and gets stabbed instead. The man escapes, and Thane starts getting weak due to the poison from the blade. Rei recognizes the poison as Cantarella, a deadly poison from the Nur Empire, but neutralizes it using her knowledge of the game. Claire realizes that the man was from the Nur Empire, who are always involved in major conspiracies that occur in the game according to Rei. Lorik announces that the riots and the commoner movement have fallen quiet, and Rod is annoyed that they almost played into the enemy nation's hands. Claire asks if the Aruso family will be ruined, and Lorik tells her that they were removed from businesses involving magic stones and await trial. She asks what will happen to Lena and Lambert, but he stays quiet, knowing that they will be sentenced to death for committing treason. Rod tells the girls that they will be rewarded for all they did to help the situation, and Claire finds it strange, but Rei whispers something to her, which she sees as an opportunity. The two wait in the palace, and Rei thanks Claire for arranging a nice outfit for her. Claire denies that she did it for her, but blushes when she looks at Rei. The two are summoned in front of the king, who praises them for taking care of the situation at the school. He asks them what they want as a reward, and Claire requests that he spare Lena and Lambert. The king asks Salus for his advice, but he tells him that it isn't possible since they were the prime offenders. Claire argues that the Aruso family devoted itself to the kingdom with their contributions in magic stones, and that they should be granted an exception. The king considers this, and asks Salus if their contributions are enough, but Salus tells him that their crimes are too great to forgive, so the king refuses their wish and asks them to request something else. Thane steps in and requests the king to grant their wish, saying that the situation occurred due to dissatisfaction toward the nobility after Didi was given a light sentence, and that this may occur again if the kingdom doesn't show its sincerity towards the commoners. The king hears their arguments, and announces the exile of the Aruso family instead of execution. The girls are dismissed, and as soon as they get outside, they celebrate before Claire catches herself. Rei tells her to be happy, but Claire doesn't want to share joy with her. Rei tells her they should share love instead, and starts dancing with her, which Claire ends up enjoying. The two later watch the Arusos leaving the kingdom, and learn that the siblings were disowned by the family. They spot Lena and Lambert, and go to bid them farewell. Rei teases Claire, and the two start bickering, which makes Lena laugh. Lena thanks them for sparing them, and Rei hands her recipes to help her make money wherever she goes. Lena bids them farewell and walks away, but Claire runs to her, promising to meet her again. Lena is moved by her words, and says that she will always be her master. After they depart, Rei asks Claire if she can hug her, which she refuses, but Rei runs up to her and hugs her anyway, telling her it's okay to cry. Claire tries to push her off, saying that losing one mate won't affect her, but Rei insists that she can let out her feelings since no one can see her. She begins to cry while Rei comforts her, saying that the world is unfair. She tells Rei she's audacious for a commoner, and Rei tells her to punish her for it. She knows Rei will just see it as a reward, which makes Rei happier, since she finally understands her, saying that they should just get married. Claire ignores her and starts walking away, but Rei catches up to her, and the two hope they will see Lena again.